We're going to get to the book, but I want to start with the mood. Given all of this market turmoil, valuation cutdowns, trouble fundraising, what is the mood among venture capitalists right now? How dire is it?
Well, I definitely think the mood is troubled and expects more volatility to be coming rather than less. But on the other hand, I think that technology is still very strongly the future. And so I think the question isn't, oh my God, flight from technology. It's more, there'll be more volatile fundraising. It won't be as easy. There won't be as much capital available. Some businesses will be much harder to raise than for others. And so, sort that out and be careful about that. Check your balance sheet, check all that. But we still think technology and technology investing is year by year, where we'll see most of the growth and most of the change in industries in the world.
An investor at Activant Capital, Steve Saraceno, told me he thinks millions of people are going to lose their jobs in tech and that it's going to be absolutely shocking for the industry. Do you agree?
Fundamentally, no, but it's not because I don't think there will be a number of companies that have gotten over their skis, have started investing, have burn rates that are far above their revenue. We'll do a reset. Generally public market companies will have to show that they're disciplined in their operating margins and their revenue. And so I think you will see layoffs. But the thing is, I think capital still goes, technology is the future. So I think that, for example, people who get laid off in one company might have 3 other job offers in other companies that actually, in fact, are hiring. So it isn't quite that dramatic, like, oh my God, there's going to be all these people out on the streets. It's actually going to be, there'll be a shuffle for talent and companies shuffling to ones that perhaps have either deeper piles of capital or more revenue that's going.
Now, others have told us they're saying batten down the hatches, cut costs, build what matters. What are you telling your portfolio companies right now? What are the top 3 bullets?
Well, it depends on the company. So obviously, if you have a place where you have a deep well of capital, good revenue, good growth, actually one of the places where you can tell the strong companies from the weak is you keep investing into where you're heading. We did the same thing when, for example, LinkedIn in 2008. It was like, okay, we have a chance to invest in the future here. And so when you have companies that have the ability to make that play, you take that play. On the other hand, of course, if you say, well, we're still figuring out product market fit, we don't quite know how it's going to go yet, or we want to maintain our burn rate relative to having extra months to choose our market, which we want to raise future capital, then be more disciplined about hiring, be more disciplined about expenses, and predict for the future.
Is this like 2008? Is this like the financial crisis or the dot-com bust, or is this something completely different?
Well, I think it's different in part because while, for example, there is a real shift in the market, obviously everyone in the last couple of weeks across a number of things, I think there's still a lot of capital that says, okay, if I were choosing where growth will be, where the future of industries will be, where the future of kind of new revenue streams, new businesses will be, technology is still it. It just now won't be all technology. If it seems new and interesting, throw money at it. It'll be, okay, a little bit more disciplined about, well, actually, in fact, this is a good industry of the future. Let's bet on that.
Now, in the startup of you pioneered this idea that anyone can be an entrepreneur. What is your advice to a new generation in this environment about how they take control of their own careers when a lot of people are reevaluating life and work?
So the basic idea is careers are now much more like a startup than they are like a career ladder, career escalator. You can call it a jungle, you can call it a jungle gym. You have to actually be maneuverable and flexible. Adaptability is the new stability. And so the tool set for entrepreneurs, even if you don't start a company yourself, is the tool set for every professional, for every worker, for every career path. And the book is trying to say, well, here's the basic set of the tool sets if you would like to run your career in this modern entrepreneurial adaptable way.
Now, someone else who seems to be at an inflection point in his career is Elon Musk, taking on the possibility of buying Twitter. I know he's a friend of yours. He was your colleague at PayPal. How bullish are you on the future of Twitter under Elon Musk?
Well, I saw your earlier interview with Jason. I thought it was very good, by the way. And basically, I think everything he was saying about Twitter and Twitter circumstances is correct. I think it hasn't innovated nearly as much as it could have or perhaps should have, in the last decade, 5 years, whatever it is. I think one of the great things about Elon is he is one of the world's most amazing innovators. I actually do think this is counter to what Jason was saying, that he has a plan, that it's an interesting plan. Yes, the bots thing may or may not be fully on target or not, but actually, in fact, I think he's an active user, as we can tell in the last couple of days even, and he has a sense of where the product could go. And Elon is always a product-oriented entrepreneur and inventor, and so I think he actually has a plan and has something that he's interested in doing. But I think it's obviously the tweets of where are we going with the deal and so forth are not great for stability within the company and the employees and knowing what's going on in the future.
So you think he's serious? I mean, if you were on the other side of this deal, wouldn't you be frustrated about all the back and forth?
Well, of course you should be frustrated because part of being a little bit more tweet in the morning saying it's on hold, tweet a little later saying I'm still committed, is needless thrash on this. On the other hand, I think Elon is also very exciting about, here's a person who revitalizes the space industry, who, brings on the future in green cars and a bunch of other things. So I think there's a bunch of very interesting things that are possible with the innovation. That's great. I think that the volatile tweeting, perhaps, a little less great.
Now, we're coming up on almost 20 years since you founded LinkedIn, and I wonder if this could be the moment where the new social network of the future gets born. Is the market, our users, is even Elon Musk saying we need something new?
So I think we almost always, like for example, if you said, will there be a new social network 5 years from now that we don't see right now? The answer is almost certainly yes. We wouldn't necessarily have predicted TikTok coming in, thinking, oh, all that video stuff is already owned by YouTube. I think we will see it. Now, the interesting question, of course, part of what my job's about, is trying to figure that out and predict it and invest in it early. I do think that Twitter has great potential to it. That's actually one of the things that is most exciting in all of this. And I think that being able to work towards that potential is huge. But by the way, in terms of a new social network, I think you will see someone in the next 5 years. Where it will come from and which country it will come from, I think is very much TBD.
We're coming up on the anniversary of the Facebook IPO as well, and you were an early investor. I know that you have been frustrated, and you've expressed that with us, with some of Mark Zuckerberg's decision over the last few months, particularly around the whistleblower. But what do you think about the vision for the metaverse? Are you bullish on that?
Well, so I haven't actually talked to Zuckerberg about that at all. I tend to be a little bit more cautious on the metaverse, thinking of than off a wide variety of things, startups and everything else, just because I think that what we'll first see before we see deep social applications or work applications is deep entertainment applications that have a broad-based appeal and interest. And I haven't seen those yet. I've seen, kind of specific ones, and what they've done with Oculus is really amazing. But I think we're still some ways away from that, call it mass adoption of the metaverse. Or maybe we should call it mass-verse adoption or something like that.
Now, the metaverse, if it happens, could totally change the way we live and work. What do you think about the future of work? Has the center of gravity permanently shifted to the home or not?
I think almost certainly it has not shifted permanently to the home, because we are social animals. There's a bunch of people who get their energy by working with other people. You can make decisions more quickly with everyone in the room. So I think that there will be a return to offices, a return to, kind of places where people are congregating together in order to work. On the other hand, of course, we've had 2 years of adopting tools for virtual work. And I think that will expand the tool set, key talent of, zooming in or teamsing in from some other place, being able to have distributed companies that come together every 6 weeks, something along those lines. I think all of that is stuff that you're going to see persist, but I don't think the office is going away.
Interesting. Now, you recently co-founded another company yourself called Inflection, focused on the future of AI. Tell us more about this and where you think the future is. Where are you making your bets right now?
Well, one of the things, AI is, I think, going to transform every industry. I think we see line of sight to it from some of the amazing work that, like, for example, Microsoft and OpenAI are doing with Copilot and GitHub. I think you're seeing all kinds of things. And so with Inflection, we thought, okay, what are the things that we can most do to help give human beings superpowers when they're dealing with computers? What are the set of things that enable that to happen? And there's not a lot that we're saying about it yet, because we have a specific product idea that we'd like to test and develop out, and then kind of do the aha moment of pulling back the curtains. But it's an AI plus humanity is the theory.